morning, everybody. It's Valentine's Day. Cecil would like to have some pasta for dinner tonight, so I'm going to do a quick farmer's bread. Welcome to my kitchen. It's Teresa. This is Power Ridge Homestead. So what we're going to do to get started is, it's such a simple recipe, and this is we're just going to put this together, and then it's just going to sit on the countertop all day long. And then I'll fold it up a little bit, let it rise a little bit more, and then we'll pop it in the oven. That's it. It's hardly anything to do. So what we need first, and I'll point you down here. So I've got some water already, 1.5 cups of water. I just wanted to make sure that it was not too hot. You don't want anything really over 100 degrees because there's potential to kill your yeast. Now this bread should rise overnight. It should rise for 14 to 16 hours. I'm just going to do it 1 teaspoon of yeast. I'm going to give it a little bit of a boost by putting in 1 teaspoon rather than half a teaspoon. And we'll go from there. And 1 teaspoon of salt. And the salt will give it a little boost of flavor as well. 3 cups of flour. 3 cups. Okay, we're going to give this a stir just because we want to get the yeast and that mixed in a little bit, and the salt before we get started. Okay, I'm going to take her rings off. I get her hands dirty on this one. Now this is going to make a really shaggy dough. And then we're going to put in, make a little bit of a well in here, and then we'll put in 1.5 cups of water, and you'll see it is going to be very liquidy. Right? There's a lot of liquid in there. So let's get this all mixed together. We're not going to knead this. We're just getting it mixed so that it's thoroughly mixed up. Get all that flour in there. Use your fingers to get it off the sides, off the bottom, off your fingers. The thing, it is shaggy, very sticky. Now this recipe does only make 1 loaf of bread, and we're going to put it in our crock pot, or Dutch oven. Some people like to call them as well. All right, so there we go. Now what you want to do is you want to put on this flour fingers. So this is going to start rising shortly. So if you can see how shaggy it is, it's definitely not a dough. It's very light, very still thin. So what we do want to do is we're going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil on top. Just give it a good squirt. Well, not a lot. Not a good squirt. Just a squirt. So there. Can you see? I don't know if you can see the difference in color. So we're going to leave this on the counter now. And what the olive oil does is it helps it prevent a crust on the dough as it rises. So now we're just going to let this sit, and we're going to work on it. It's 10 o'clock now. We'll probably work on it around 5:30, 5 o'clock. And then it should be ready for a late dinner. So we'll see you in a while. So there we go. All right, and now this should double in size when you're finished. It's a lot like a sourdough bread because it has a long time to ferment on the countertop, and it's so easy to do. You'll see when we just put it in the crock pot, and away we go, and it's done. So it's a lot like a sourdough. Gives you that sour flavor because it has such a long fermentation that sits out. So it's 16 hours to 24 hours is not unheard of with this type of bread. And then you can enjoy it afterwards. So we'll take a look and see how it looks after. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey folks, it's been a couple hours already, so I'm going to do a little bit of stretching on the sourdough, and we'll see how it turns out. I take the rings off again. So you can see how it's already starting to bubble, which is fantastic. So what you want to do here is you just want to go in on the sides and just give it a shake. give it some stretch. What we're doing is we're just getting everything combined still a little bit. And then this is just going to rise up again. This is also going to help because if there was any hard stuff or stuff that didn't quite get mixed on the backside, then we'll get that now. So you're just turning the pan a quarter, pulling from underside up, give it a little bit of wiggle to give it a stretch, and then drop it down. And that's it. So we've done all 4 corners, and then I'm just going to get a little bit of oil again. There we go. We're back in business. Let it rise. Might do another stretch later in another couple of hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. We'll wait to see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. See you soon. Hey folks, 4 o'clock. I got the oven on. Got it on at 425. Turn some lights on here. We got the oven on at 425. I've got the Dutch oven in the oven. Look at that. Look at the bubbles in there. Isn't that fantastic? So the first thing that we want to do is point down here. I've put a piece of parchment paper out just with some flour on it, because what we're going to do is we're going to turn this out. So we're going to take our dough. Now we don't want to get rid of the bubbles. We want to leave the bubbles, so we want to be as gentle as possible. And at some point, it's just going to roll out. Oops. There we go. Now, of course, it does look long because it is lying flat on the parchment paper. So we're going to push this in a little bit. So what I did with the crock pot was I just put it in the oven and I'm letting it heat up while the oven's preheating. So as soon as the oven preheats, it'll be ready to go. I'm going to give it about another 10 minutes and it should be ready. There we go, but we want to get that in like that. All right, so that's out of the oven. Whatever you do, don't touch this. It's very, very hot. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take our bread dough. We're going to gather it by the 4 corners into the middle. Now I do have this is a little tool that comes, Cecil bought me a little while ago. And it's just for slicing the top so that when the dough expands in the oven, then it will burst out rather than explode in spots. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven, covered, for 30 minutes. So you're going to want to put that in the oven for about 30 minutes, covered, and then you take the lid off and leave it in for another 15 minutes, and that gets nice and toasty on top. And then this type of bread is dense, and it's not as fluffy as like a sandwich loaf, but it's really good. It's good, perfect for pasta tonight. All right, there we go. So there we go. It's got to go in our trivet because it is very hot. Don't forget. Don't touch the pan. But what we want to do now is get this out of here so it can cool completely, because we don't want to cut it while it's hot. It's just going to smush. Carefully. And there we go. What do you think? Farmer's bread or rustic bread, it's called as well. Now, I did do some cuts in here, but I didn't do them deep enough, so you can't really see them. Let me show you here. But look at that. Isn't that nice? Get a bad view from the camera. There we go. What do you think? I think it looks good. Nice and crunchy. That will make a nice loaf for dinner. So I got to get the pasta going. It's just 5:30 now. So as I mentioned earlier, you didn't have to go for the full 24-hour fermentation. You can do it at a shorter fermentation. I put in an extra half a teaspoon of yeast. So I used 1 teaspoon of yeast, 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of warm water, and 1 teaspoon of salt. That's it. That's it. It's all there is. There's 4 ingredients to the bread, and that's just so easy. I've got another recipe that I'm going to give it another try, but I have to get a Pyrex bowl. This one it's called peasant bread, and you make it in a Pyrex bowl, a buttered Pyrex bowl, instead of heating up the pan like we did with the crock pot. You can just butter the bread bowl basically, and then just stick it right in the oven. And then you're good to go, and it rises up. So you can try that next. Got a lot of bread here to eat. This will go tonight. I'm pretty sure it will. Tonight or tomorrow. This makes great sandwiches, great toast. This is going to be fabulous tonight with the pasta, as I say, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you try it, because it's a really easy recipe to do. If you have any questions, please comment. I do look at the comments, and I'll answer you back. Again, please like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.